Ryan opened this weekend another live action do-over. This one not from Disney.
Correct. Yeah.
Dreamworks, Universal, I believe. How to Train Your Dragon. Now, How to Train Your Dragon, the animated version, came out 100 years ago. And I think I saw it once.
Man, that makes me feel old because it was one of the first films that I reviewed professionally.
Really?
And did interviews. So yeah, if you're thanks for that. Yeah.
I do what I can. That makes me older than you still.
Yeah, no, but
no, so yeah, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been over a decade.
Yeah, so I believe I've made my general feelings about live action adaptations clear. I haven't found one yet that I think needs to exist.
Well, and I was, I think it's an argument that yes, does it need to exist? Probably not. But I do think there is an element here, in the sense that, when we saw the original Transformers movie, what was exciting about it was, yes, it had been in our cartoon and we had seen these things. It was the getting to see it in a photorealistic way.
Yeah.
And so there is an element, I think, that getting to see dragons and things, there is an argument that could be made for that. Although there is also an argument that could be made that we have seen plenty of dragons in live action films.
We have.
So to that end, we hadn't seen anything quite like Transformers in films.
No.
When that came out.
No, no. We had some cool 90s robot movies, which I love and own. I could go and find them and pull them up for you. But yes, I own those because they are very specific to that time and the technology that they had. But we also had giant robots after Transformers that, thank God for Guillermo del Toro.
Sure. Anyway, so, there is, the live action argument. Is it there? Yes. I get it, but there's also part of me that's tired. And because the fact of the matter is whatever we say about them being necessary or unnecessary, they're clearly still going to make them.
Yes, I know.
So,
but if you're going to make, okay, well, let's do this. If you're going to remake a movie, any movie, why would you do it exactly the same way as the original Psycho? Which is apparently, and again, it's been a while since I saw the animated version of this. But so I couldn't tell you independently that this is a shot for shot remake.
And however, I don't think it is a shot for shot, but I do think it is a beat for beat.
And I think they probably chose some shots to do.
Yeah.
And okay, so then that's good. So you better find a new way to present the thing if you're going to do that. All of this boils down to me saying what I'm about to say about this, because I don't really have a dog in the fight for How to Train Your Dragon as a franchise, because I didn't have kids that were in that at that point, and I didn't care. It's fine. Is it perfect? No, but if I looked at this as a standalone product, I'd be like, okay, so I have some issues with it. But it's a fun coming of age adventure. It's got a lot of comedy. It's got a lot of heart. Yeah. The dragon effects are great. Generally speaking, there's some story issues in the whole training sequences with Hiccup and Toothless, because it always seems like Hiccup learns exactly what he needs to learn to pass the trial of flame or whatever the next day. It's like I don't know. There's just things, and I get it. It's kind of the setup for this, but in the end, it's like it's fine. I wouldn't have a problem showing this to any kid.
No.
I didn't have a problem with the cast at all, up to and including Nico Parker as Astrid, which
Hmm.
huge point of controversy going in. I
Which,
get,
which I don't. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she does not look like a blonde Viking. I get it. What I don't remember, speaking of, oh, by the way, I do love the fact that Gerard Butler is here in
Who
live
did?
action
Sure. And he was
as
there.
Bruce. I think
Yeah.
it's great. But I don't remember from the original. I lost that train of thought because I went off my Gerard Butler thing. But no, I don't have a problem with Nico Parker's Astrid. What I don't remember from the animated version is there's a whole big section in here where Gerard Butler, he goes, we came, our tribes came from everywhere. You came from the Middle East, and you came from Asia, and you came from, and it's like, was that part of the thing in the original, or was it just a bunch of Vikings that happened to live there? And were they all actual Vikings, not just people from around the world that chose to come and try to live here and kill the dragons? Because if that's in the original, then it doesn't matter that they recast Astrid. If it's not in the original, then they put it in to kind of justify the recasting of Astrid. Either way, the one thing that I will say about Astrid is she absolutely, from what I remember of the original, absolutely carries that attitude.
Oh yeah.
Character all the way through the film. It's like, yep, that is a woman. Well, that is a soon-to-be woman that is not to be trifled with. So, so I didn't have a problem with her portrayal at all.
No, and I think I enjoyed the film. Maybe not as much as I enjoyed the original, because the original was surprisingly more original.
Right? What?
But I think there are people who do not like animation. I don't understand why, but there are people who, if it's animated, don't really want to see it.
I really like animation.
I
love
do
good
too.
animation.
I do too. But so I think and for kids, and I think back when I was a kid growing up, and they did a lot of where they would reissue films in theaters and things. And we're actually starting to see that happen a bit more again. But there could be the argument that this is introducing a whole new generation to this, this intellectual property.
Yeah.
But that also kind of suggests that they weren't able to see the other ones where they were actually really it's very easy to see these films and the numerous series spin-offs that were on Netflix, some of which were really quite good and some of which were not so good. But it is an interesting debate, but ultimately, just based on the movie alone, is it a good movie? I think it's a good movie. Is it enjoyable? Yes, I think it's enjoyable. Will kids like it? Yes. I've heard that it's a little more frightening because it's, photorealistic, which me as a kid would be like, yeah, I'm all about it being a little more frightening. There may be some kids that aren't, I suppose. It didn't
It's
even.
not cartoon peril.
Yeah, it's so it is a little there is a little more there. It's still a PG rated film, and I think it is appropriately rated PG. I have no issues with that whatsoever.
Nope.
Is it going to scare some kids? Maybe.
Maybe. Good for
But
them.
yeah, well, that's kind of how I feel about it. Is I always loved a movie that scared me a little bit. And if they were to do, and I'm not suggesting that I want this, but if they were to do a Sleeping Beauty, which was, as a kid, that was the Disney film that freaked me out. I would hope that the live action version was more frightening than the animated. I would want that.
Yeah.
They're obviously not interested, probably going in that direction since they did their spin-offs and decided to make Evil not so evil. But no, I mean, generally speaking, I think How to Train Your Dragon's a good film. I think it's an enjoyable film. I think that hopefully people will go see it. I don't know that I want them to make I guess the question is okay, now that you've remade the first, is your plan to just copy the films that you've already made and turn those into live action sequels? Or,
I don't think they can get away with that because the kids
yeah,
are going to age too quick.
it's like, so what is your end game here, or what is your strategy here? Is this a one-off? Is this a,
I hope it's a one-off.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and again, I don't know that I want to see you remake every film
No.
in the same way that you've remade this. It is, this film is a half hour longer than the animated.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, it's just over 2 hours as well.
And so I think a lot of that is in the action scene at the end.
Yeah.
Um, but again, yeah, I would need to sit down and watch. Um, and I did consider watching it again before I went in, but then decided that I didn't really need to do that. This wasn't the kind of film that demanded that.
No.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, it is interesting because everything does. Like there were characters that I hated even more in the live action than I hated in the animated, and you're kind of supposed to. The twins.
Yes.
Man, it was funny though because it was when it comes to that point where he needs to rally all those people and use them.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, do you really want to? No, can't you find someone else?
There's
Anyone
nobody
else?
else. There's nobody else.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. And then at the end, I'm supposed to like them all, and I don't. I still don't.
No.
But anyway, and I think that was more forgivable in the animated film than it was in the live action.
That's fair.
But I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it was just that's the part that I keyed in. Not that it was scarier, but that certain characters were more annoying to me because they were played by people rather than animated
Right.
characters.
I did like Nick Frost.
Yeah, Nick is good, and actually, I needed Nick Frost to be good in this because a couple days earlier, I'd watched a horror film that he had done that was just awful.
Was it the recent one that was at Sundance that I did not watch?
The family goes to the island, and
Yeah.
yeah, I hated that film.
I heard. I'd say it had a lot of buzz going in,
Oh,
and
I hated
then
that.
everything I heard
Anyway,
after that was like, ugh. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
I'm glad I
Anyway,
didn't have to squeeze that into my schedule.
yeah, and you don't ever. So I needed him to be good in this.
Yeah. That's good. Julian Dennison keeps playing the same character.
Yeah.
I mean, part of that might be Hollywood's fault, and he's got to work. But yeah, he's got to branch out a little bit. We need something else from him. I don't even know what, but we need something else from him. I would like to point out that Mason Thames, who plays Hiccup, the entire time I was watching the movie, I kid you not, I'm like, man, if they'd have made this movie 20 years ago, this would be a young Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
So he is so close to him. I was just like, oh my God, it's awesome. So that helped me enjoy his performance as well. Which I don't know if that's a backhanded compliment or not, but
no, but he was fine. He's fine. Yeah, that's the thing there. I mean, most of it was cast just fine. Any issues I have are, obviously with the characters themselves, and you're supposed to have issues with most of the characters that I have issues with. So,
yep.
Yeah, but yeah, and going back to your comment about him learning kind of everything that he needed to learn just when he needed to learn it, this is not the first film to do that.
No.
Harry Potter does that a lot.
Well, he always seems to learn it at the beginning of the semester and always need it at the end of the semester.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just little things. And it's just like, nobody's catching on. It's like everyone loves him, but it's like nobody questions it. You're completely incompetent, and now you're a dragon whisperer. No, I'm not buying it. Someone's going to call him on it, and it's Astrid, obviously.
Yeah, but and part of the appeal to this film to me is that you get somebody who really wants to, live up to their father's expectations, is literally incapable of doing it in the way that the father wants, and so the kid has to kind of figure out his own way how to do it. In the process,
Yeah.
Dad kind of gives up on him.
Yeah.
But in the end, the son gets to the place where the dad wanted him to be all along.
Yep.
And I love those stories.
Yeah. So it's just the little things that put me off. But no, I enjoyed it. It was, like I said, I wasn't super invested in this property,
Yeah.
merely the phenomenon. So it's like, fine, it's okay. I guess you can do them well enough for me. At this point. Some people may love them all, and that's fine. But they did it well enough to where I just wasn't throwing up my hands in disgust like some other live action adaptations that we've done recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll remember that next time, because I know we're going to have more.
Probably.
Live action Moana.
Well,
So yeah, so we'll see about that. Yeah, so it's, again, not bad. It's in theaters now. It opened this weekend, and is apparently going to win the weekend.
Yes.
And beat that other animated or other movie that was doing so well. So interesting. We'll see what happens over the next week or two, because then we get into crazy time, blockbuster time.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. We have movies to watch next week. I will be watching 2 of 3 of them. I will not be watching Tuesday's animated film, because 3 days in a row is too much for me right now. So but I am hitting F1 the movie, since apparently we've been told we have to say F1 registered trademark the movie.
Yes.
And then Wednesday is
28 years.
28 years later. Yes, indeed.
Which, unfortunately, I will not be at that.
Oh, so you won't be at that one?
I will see that later. But
so that's funny. So what I love about that is that movie was coming out. I was like, oh, I need to go rewatch the movies. It's like, oh, you can't stream them anywhere. And I just reach over to my physical media shelf. I pull out my 2-pack that I bought 100 years ago for no reason. Because I'm not necessarily a zombie movie thing either, but I liked the first one.
Oh, I love them. Yeah.
So I was just like, oh yeah, physical media, except no substitute. Eventually they'll break, but that happens. But they can't be taken from you. So buy the disc, people. Buy the disc. So that's it. How to Train Your Dragon 2025 live action adaptation. Surprisingly entertaining for me. Ryan really enjoyed it. There you go. Again, we've got some movies coming up this week. We have F1 the movie. We have Elio, which you will be watching, which I will not.
Yes.
And I will be watching 28 Years Later, which you will not. So we will get to those two at some point after that. We'll definitely be talking F1 the movie.
Yes.
Hold out hope, because car racing, good stuff. Don't forget to like us, follow us, share us on social media if you like what we're doing, so that other people can like what we're doing. That would be lovely. Go to the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. Get links to all of our stuff. Go to YouTube, Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. You can see any videos we put up there. Yeah, and till next time, be good, stay safe, go see a good movie, because they're out there. There's plenty of good quality stuff to see, and more is coming. So till we talk to you again, I am Mark. That is Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you, folks.
And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.